Hi there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya and today's video is going to be a what's for dinner. I'm going to show you guys 4 of our family's favorite recipes that, believe it or not, at least one of them are usually included in our weekly meal plan because we just like them that much. This week we just happen to have all of them in the same week, so I wanted to go ahead and show you guys those. These meals are more on the lower carb end of the spectrum. We tend to eat lower carb. It just works better for us and our family. So if you're looking for lower carb good meals that your family will love, just continue to watch our video. For our first meal, I'm going to make leftover steak tacos. My husband grilled some steaks on Sunday, so we had some left over, and I just created steak tacos or steak taco bowls if that's what you prefer. I'm just going to start out by warming everything up as far as the meat. We had some cauliflower rice, and then my husband also grilled some asparagus on that night, so I'm just going to warm that up to eat it as well. Also just preparing all of our toppings. I'm cutting up an avocado here and I'm going to go ahead and get that ready on the plate. Once the steak is done in the microwave warming up, I'm just going to take it out and then I'm going to switch it for the asparagus, which was next, so that I can go ahead and warm that up as well. The steak is now complete in the microwave, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it on this plate. And I actually did not realize the night before how much leftover steak we actually had. So this is a lot of steak that I'm going to be making our tacos and taco bowls with. So I'm just going to go ahead and take these slices that were already cut and just cut them into little squares or cubes just to make it easier to put on the tacos, and also cut some up for my son so he can have little bite-sized pieces. So now that almost everything is completed and ready for us to start making our tacos, I'm just going to go ahead and warm up these tortillas. I am using these carb balanced tortillas for my husband's tacos. And then I'm also going to make my son a cheese roll up, which is basically just a tortilla with cheese melted on it, rolled up, because he is 2 years old, so he doesn't quite get the concept of eating a taco. So I'm just going to make him the roll up and then give him some steak on the side. Now that everything is ready to go, I'm just going to go ahead and start preparing the tacos. So first I'm going to start out by putting some sour cream on the tortilla and rubbing it around so that he gets a bite of sour cream in every bite. Next, I'm just going to go ahead and start putting on the steak. I just left these steaks in strips for him because it's just a whole lot easier. Instead of cutting every strip of meat, I just left some of them in strips. That way I can just throw them on the tortilla and everything would be ready to go. My husband is pretty basic when it comes to what he wants on his tacos. It's usually just cheese and sour cream. He doesn't really like lettuce or anything on it. So really he just has meat, tortillas, cheese, and sour cream. So after I make my husband's, I'm just going to go ahead and roll up my son's roll up and cut it for him and get it ready on his plate so he can eat it. So now that my son's plate is finished and so is my husband's, I'm going to go ahead and make mine. I'm just going to start out with the avocado, and then I'm going to put the meat, the sour cream, the cheese, some lettuce, and some cauliflower rice on it with some hot sauce. I did forget to mention that my husband does eat hot sauce on just about everything that he eats, so he does put that on his taco as well. This meal is a very easy meal that could be done with any leftovers, and it was very delicious and we really enjoyed it. Our next meal that I made was chicken enchiladas. So I start out by putting 2 chicken breasts in the crock pot and just putting taco seasoning on it and just seasoning it with some other seasonings, as well as putting some chicken broth in the crock pot and just letting it cook on low for about 3 to 4 hours. The reason that I like to cook the chicken in the crock pot beforehand is because I really like the way that it shreds in the crock pot. So I went ahead and shredded it, and I'm adding some cheese to the chicken and a little bit of enchilada sauce and just mixing it together. That way that all of the flavor is in the meat as well as on the tortillas. So once I finish with that, I'm just going to go ahead and pour some of this enchilada sauce onto the bottom of the pan. That way the tortillas don't stick. And then again, I'm using the carb balanced tortillas. I'm just going to fill them with the chicken mixture and roll them up and put them in the pan. Once I have finished rolling up all of the tortillas and using all of the meat, I'm just going to go ahead and pour a little bit more of this enchilada sauce on the tortillas. I do not use this whole can because this can is actually really big. And then I'm just going to add some cheese on top because who doesn't like cheese? And then I'm going to bake it in the oven at 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes. On this particular night, we ended up taking this meal over to my mother and father-in-law's house, and it was very delicious. Our next meal is baked cheesy pesto chicken. This meal is actually one of our favorite meals ever. So I'm just going to go ahead and start by preheating the oven to 425 degrees. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut my chicken. We use 2 chicken breasts and I just cut them in half, and then my husband will have some for lunch the next day. So after you cut the chicken, I'm just using these seasonings to season the chicken on both sides. Now that the chicken is all seasoned, I'm just going to open this jar of pesto and just take it out with a spoon and put it on the chicken and smear it around so that it is evenly coated on all of the chicken. Now that the pesto is on the chicken, I'm just going to go ahead and put some cheese on it. Now, normally this recipe calls for mozzarella cheese, but we did not have any on hand, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this Colby Jack cheese, which tasted just as great. Once the oven is preheated, I'm just going to go ahead and put the chicken in the oven for 25 minutes or until your chicken is completely cooked through. With this meal, I made some green beans. I just put them in a bowl and added some butter and some garlic and salt and pepper and just put them in the microwave for about 4 minutes until they were soft and mixed them together. Green beans are a hit or miss with my 2-year-old, so on this night I did ask him if he wanted the green beans or if he wanted something else, and he requested an orange, so I just got one of our cuties out and peeled it, and I'm just peeling off the wedges for him so he can eat that. Also, I just decided that one wedge looked real good, so I wanted to eat it. So once the green beans were done in the microwave, I just went ahead and took them out, but since our bowl was glass, it was kind of hot, so I had to use oven mitts to get them out of the microwave. And after I get them out of the microwave, I just mix them together and make sure the butter and the garlic and the seasonings are just all incorporated very well into the green beans. And then I just ended up giving my son some green beans as well, just to see if he would eat them. So I gave him a few little strings of it, and then I cut them up into smaller pieces because if he saw the big pieces, he probably wouldn't have even touched them. This meal is very delicious and it's always a hit in our home. So our next meal is air fried chicken wings, and I just start out by putting our air fryer at 360 degrees for 12 minutes and then going ahead and let it preheat. Once it's preheated, I'm just going to go ahead and put the chicken into the basket for the air fryer, season it up, and then put it in the air fryer to start it. Now, the way that I cook my wings in the air fryer that have just always worked for us is I cook them at 360 degrees for 12 minutes. Once that is finished, I will go ahead and flip them over and cook them again at 360 degrees for 12 more minutes. And then once those 12 minutes are up, I put the air fryer at the highest degree, which mine is 400, and cook them for 6 more minutes after flipping them again. So they are flipped twice, cooked 3 times for 30 minutes total, and they turn out crispy and perfect every single time. On wing nights, I usually leave the sauce making to my husband. He does his own thing. I don't know. I'm just going to show you guys. What I can see is he's using butter, Frank's Red Hot sauce, some Tabasco. He added Worcestershire and some Everglades, which I show you guys all of them in a second. And then he just heats them until everything is melted and mixed together, and that is the wing sauce that we use, and it's pretty good. So I let him do it every single time now. Once the wings are finished in the air fryer, I just put them in the pan with the sauce and coat them and serve them, and we also had a salad with this meal. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.